Hey everyone, Jordan McCandless here, staff advisor for the Adventure Card campaign, back with another quick tip video. And I'm here to again introduce Matt Hill, our Director of Field Service, and once again, not talking to Matt as Director of Field Service, but talking to him in the capacity of one of his other scouting roles. So Matt, tell us a little bit about that.
I am more here today with you as a fellow leader in scouting. My son has recently joined Cub Scouts, and so I am going through a journey this year as a new unit selling adventure cards for the first time. And I'm excited to go through this journey with you, hopefully get Jordan to answer some questions as well as share some things that I've learned along the way.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because I actually had questions for you today. I think one of the big tips overall for this video is find a way to allow people to use credit cards and even tap to pay to buy adventure cards. That seems to me is just the best way to sell these days in order to sell more and make sure we don't miss customers. I understand that you and your unit have a tool, Square, that you've set up to do exactly that, which is tap to pay and cards. So could you tell us a little bit about Square and how you've set that up?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we found pretty early on when we started looking at adventure cards that we needed to figure out a way that we could take credit cards. When we looked at what we did with popcorn, more than half of our sales with popcorn were done either by credit card or by phone. And so it's an important way for us to capture all of our customers because a lot of them will use the lack of cash as an excuse to walk on by our scouts. But our ability to take cards, I think, is going to help us have a successful year. So as Jordan shared, we've decided to partner with Square. We've created an account with Square using our PAC email and our PAC bank account. We have then added the adventure card as one of the items that we sell, and we have got that set up so we can now not only take credit cards, we can also do tap to pay. We can manually enter a card if technology's given us some challenges, but this should really help us have a successful year.
Yeah, well, great. I do have a couple of questions. First question, I know in the past, Square has required that you have a reader device that you attach to your phone, and that's what captures the information. That's how you enable the tap to pay, etc. Does Square still require you to have that reader device these days?
That is a great question and something that we had to look into as well. Fortunately, in the last year or so, Square has updated some of their technology in their app so you can do tap to pay with most modern cell phones, making it that you actually don't need a reader anymore. Now, if you're a unit that has those readers, they still work. We're a new unit, and so for us, it was going to be an expense. But we found it was an expense that we didn't have to have this year since their technology supports that.
Great. Well, that's exciting to hear that they've kind of advanced and enabled that capacity. One other question. I think a lot of units are going to wonder, hey, I've got a storefront on a weekend and I've got leaders out selling with their kids on the same weekend. I've got another leader out with his coworkers trying to sell to them all at the same time. How does that work with Square? Does Square have the capacity to manage multiple people selling at the same time through the same Square setup?
Yeah, absolutely it does. So we have our admin account that we've created with our PAC bank account and our PAC email, like I had shared. And then we've gone through and actually added what Square calls employees to our admin account. That's our parents that are out there selling at storefronts and selling otherwise. And that allows us to have multiple people selling at a time without having to have separate accounts to help us manage those sales. And then it's great because I can manage the permissions from there, and I can also see what they're doing as far as how well did that storefront go, at least from a credit card standpoint.
Great. Well, great. Well, those are kind of my specific questions. I don't have any other specific questions, but would just before we wrap up, love to throw it over to you. Is there anything else that would be good for units to know as they look into setting up Square as a tap to pay and credit card option?
You know, I think we've answered some big questions that we had. One of the questions you might be having that we did have very early on is, what is this going to cost to the unit, or the fees that we're going to have to incur by using Square? And so it's a little bit different, we found, depending on the account that you have, but roughly 2.5% to 3% of each transaction is the credit card fee. And then once again, depending on the type of account you have with Square, there may be a small 10-15 cent charge per transaction. A great resource through Square is you can actually set up that you can invite customers to cover that fee, which is just as simple as, hey, thank you for buying this adventure card. Would you like to help us cover the credit card fees? While this is our first year, we're going to see how that goes. But I anticipate that there's many people like me that would be happy to cover that fee. But that's probably something that most units will ask is, what are the fees that are going to be set up with that? Outside of that, if you have questions about how to set up Square, I know there's field executives that are there to help. I'm happy to help. I'm doing it here for the first time, so I'm learning right here along with you, but I can share that I know that this is going to be a big piece of our storefronts and a part of our campaign is there's a lot of people like myself that I don't carry cash anymore, and so using my phone or my credit card will make the difference whether I can actually make a sale or purchase.
Yeah, excellent. Well, great. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thanks for all that input on Square. Hopefully that's helpful to you and your unit as you're looking for ways to capture customers and make sure you sell more cards. And appreciate you selling, and we will see you on the next video.